them. Somebody actually asked me some drum questions. Said, Bill, I got 3 questions for you after I heard your drum battle on YouTube, and you didn't suck. You seem like a relatively good drummer and an extremely good opinionator, so I'd like to ask your opinion on some drum things. What do you think are some of the hardest drum songs to play? Well, for me, it would be just about all of them. The hardest ones, I would say as far as like for, look, I'm going to actually get into this a little bit because I really got hardcore into sports, not even remotely concerned about people who could give a shit about sports. So I'll get into this a little bit for the musicians out there. Is I actually found one of the hardest things to do is to have the discipline to just sit down and try and make what I could physically play actually sound good. Because I think one of the big things when you're learning an instrument is when you physically get something down, you move on to the next thing. You don't stay with it until you can actually make it sound good and make it sound good to somebody listening to you play it. You just, okay, I got that down. Bam. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the next fucking thing. Rather than, if you learn like a drum fill, you just get the fill down and you play a couple of fucking beats and then you just throw it in. Yeah, I got that down. You don't really have it down. So one of the hardest things for me was having the discipline. And it was something I learned when I was watching Steve Jordan play drums. And I was listening to him play something. And I was watching it going, I can physically play what he's playing. And what he's playing is actually really simple, but I could not make it sound 1/1,000,000th as good as he's making it sound right now. Like, he was playing a beat that would actually be considered lame if I played it. And the way he played it, it sounded unbelievably fresh, and it would make an entire arena just start smiling and get into whatever song was being played. That was the fucking hardest thing as far as trying to get halfway decent at drums for me. But as far as just songs that are difficult, any of the shit by John Bonham, his foot is just so goddamn fast. And you can catch up with speed, but you just can't play it the way he fucking plays it. And I've had unbelievable arguments about people like, the Coke and Pepsi argument with white rock drummers is who do you like better, Bonham or Neil Peart? This is way back in the day before all these other kids came along and are just fucking killing it. And I always picked Bonham. I didn't think Neil Peart was anywhere near him. I thought Neil Peart was like a fucking technician. He played right on the beat, and it sounded very fucking robotic, as opposed to John Bonham, who could play, once again, the simplest fucking fill that I could physically do, but could never play it the way he plays. They're just the fucking shit. It's like watching a great actor. You know what I mean? Who can just take like a really just basic fucking monologue and make it the most interesting goddamn, like a Christopher Walken or even John Goodman that I was playing. Like I sometimes I forget what a great fucking actor that guy is. I don't know. So, but as far as like songs that I would say is difficult, I would say the Wanton song is ridiculously difficult, and I think most people play it wrong. They actually leave out one bass drum note where he's playing 3 in a row and they only play 2 in a row. At that fucking tempo was fucking ridiculous. Out on the Tiles, that second fill that he does that ends where he plays a fucking triplet with one goddamn bass drum is fucking ridiculous. And then I also got to admit that drum and bass shit and a lot of stuff that like I love really into like what's his face Questlove, the shit that he plays. He's another guy where I think he took like the Steve Jordan thing to like the next level. And he does shit. I don't even know what the fuck he's doing, but I don't like I'm fucking stuttering here because I can't really think of any specific song. I'll give you one here that I want to break out my double pedal because I don't play double bass. I just play a single bass drum. But every once in a while, there's a drummer comes along that's so fucking good, it makes me want to play double bass. And I've actually really gotten into that band, Lamb of God. And just to warn some of my older listeners, This is the sort of that rah, 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 rah kind of fucking singing. But it's not as bad as some of the other guys. But they got this song called Break You. And there's a double bass pattern in the end that I just think is the shit. And I'm sure all you guys who play double bass, this is a fucking joke for you. But this is the kind of shit that makes me want to play double bass. Let's see if I got this here. If I can get this. See, it just sounds ridiculous the way he's singing. All right, here we go. Listen to this fucking double bass pattern. This is Chris Adler. This is one of my new favorite drummers. I think this is the shit right here. Listen to this. Here we go. That shit right there, that fucking machine gun shit. I actually figured out what the fuck he's doing, but that just amazes me that the entire band can be on fucking point like that. And I know you guys are going to hit me with a bunch of other double bass drum players who are faster or whatever. I like their band because the tempo that they play at, it's still fucking music to me. Because some of those other bands, I try to get into them, but it's maybe my ear isn't ready to hear it, but the shit is so fucking fast that it loses its effectiveness. That it stops being music. It just sounds like a jet that's like flying by but never passes my ears. It's just sitting there in my fucking ears. So I guess that type of shit. Did that make any fucking sense? What did I do there? What did I do? Let's get to the next question. Who are some of the best recent drummers of the past decade? I'll just tell you the guys that I like. I like everyone from... whoever played with those original Chuck Berrys, like Ringo, Charlie Watts, Phil Rudd, Alex Van Halen, Steve Gadd, Vinnie Colaiuta, Steven Adler, Chris Adler, Quest. There's so many fucking guys. And I'm going fucking blank on all of them. I really should have made a list. You know what? I'll actually send to the MM podcast. I'll send you a couple of YouTube videos of some guys that I think are just fucking amazing. Amazing drummers. But I don't know. Anybody who gives me the fucking chills when I listen to them, and that's like the big thing, and they make me wish that I could fucking do it. That's how I judge whether a drummer's good enough. If they play some shit and it's so fucking good that in my delusional head I start driving down the street fantasizing that I'm doing it, you know, during the middle of the greatest HBO stand-up special performance ever, then that's I get into that drummer. All right, number 3 is Good Times, Bad Times, the only song that you can play. I can barely play that song, but no, I can play some other ones. I don't know. Did that bore the shit out of you, music people? Who gives a fuck?